Good morning, everyone. Today is the 28th of March, 2019. I'm Roy Potter. Welcome to the Potter Expositor. Hooray for President Trump. Hooray for President Trump. The battle's not over yet, but he is now pretty much free and clear to go after these guys after two and a half years almost now, considering what happened, prior to him taking office as well. Actually, it's 3 years. I just want to remind everyone, I keep hearing President Trump say, we have to make sure that this never happens to another president again. And President Trump, I would like to expand that a little bit, because as I've said in the past, if they will do this to the President of the United States, think what the IC and the rogue supposed law enforcement and justice community has done to the American people. They've done the same things to them, President Trump. So what you need to do is expand that and say, we must bind down these bureaucrats, these intelligence community people, and our law enforcement, so that they must abide by the Constitution and regulations and laws, because they have gotten far out of control. So President Trump, expand that. This must never happen to an American again. But other than that, it looks like we're finally on the road to possibly getting some cleanup in Washington, D.C. and throughout the agencies. I called this treason, and Barr pushes Huber ahead forward, because I'm getting some information. It's looking like, I just want to make it clear. First of all, yes, treason is involved, despite some people saying, well, that can't be the case for this reason or that. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. There won't be many of those. Most of them will fall under sedition or under other criminal behavior, but there are a few that will, in fact, if Barr and Trump can actually go forward, who will be indicted, accused, tried for treason. It'll be a handful, but there should be a number of them. And then more in those other areas. Trump doesn't want to, I don't think, totally destroy the government, of course, but without taking this thing to the breadths and the depths and searching out all of this disease and virus, it'll rear its ugly head again. Look at what Nancy Pelosi's saying. She's not going to accept Barr's interpretation. And as I said earlier in the week, or maybe it was last week, okay, Nancy, let's give you your wish. Trump, declassify everything, and let's see how she handles that. And what's interesting is, of course, is he has said now, both on Hannity last night and in some other places, that he is moving forward to declassify all of it. And I hope he gets to the JFK thing and the 9/11 thing as well. We really need all of that. Despite the shock that it'll give to the American people, a lot of us are in the know. A lot of us realize what's happened. But the majority of Americans just can't look down the road that far, and they can't look down into the depths of hell that far. They need to be forced to it. They need to be forced to have their blinders taken off and look at the havoc that they have been backing for the last 60 years. And yes, the American people have backed it because they've refused to do anything about it. So at any rate, that's good news. Also, Trump says that he's going to move forward because to make sure that this never happens to another American president, again, I say to the American people, we need to go in and find out the culprits in this thing. If it goes to Obama, so be it. And it will. If anybody has the guts, if the system really has the guts, it'll go to Obama. I think we all realize that. Nobody wants to say it, not really, because he was a president of the United States. And yet, they've accused Trump of treason. So I think now that we know that well, with Nadler and with Waters and all these people, Swallows well. Hope there are no kids in the audience. They're willing to call a sitting president a treasonous person, a traitor, and yet everybody is afraid to call Obama a traitor. And yet we have more information on Obama, despite the fact that his background was sealed. All of these things have been kept to his close group, and nobody wants to say it. The evidence is there. He is a traitor. So is Clinton, Hillary. And I'll just say it. Nobody else wants to. Because he was a president. We don't want to disgrace the office of the president. In this case, he disgraced the office of the president. The same thing they're trying to say about Trump. The Democrats and the never-Trumpers and these types of people, the leftist Marxists say, Trump is treasonous. Well, they're disrespecting the office of the president, but why won't they do it with Obama? This whole thing with Jussie Smollett, despite the fact that he knew about covering this up, because in one way or another, whether he's directly involved in the chain or not, he's aware of it and didn't do anything to stop it. I keep hearing people, even Bill Riley, say, well, he was talking to Bill Barr last night. He says, no, wait a minute, Bill, because Bill was saying that there's all this evidence to show that Obama actually ordered this thing against President Trump. And O'Reilly comes to his defense. I guess he had to, but I don't. And O'Reilly says, now, wait a minute, Bill, he knew about it, but that doesn't necessarily mean he ordered it. Okay, well, the way I understand criminal behavior is if you know a crime is being committed and you don't do anything to stop it, what's that called? An accessory? There's no way for Obama to get out of this. The only question is will our president now and our DOJ, our AG, our military go after these traitors? I know there are people saying, the military doesn't go after the civilians. In some cases, they do. Some cases they do, but that's not necessary for a treason charge. It isn't. So at any rate, that's where I see it sitting right now. And then you notice I've mentioned this thing about Huber. Huber has not done his job. Okay, he has not done his job. At least not up until he found out Barr was coming in. Sessions put him in there to do exactly what I said, to sit on it and do absolutely nothing. Shuffle some papers around, and that's about it. Word is now, though, that Barr is on his butt and is expecting some product. So that's good news. So it could be, and every day that goes by and I see these things progress, I have more and more hope. Actually, it's beyond hope now. It's expectation, I think, that Barr is, in fact, going to at least make a significant impact on cleaning out these criminals in our government. I think it's there. It's going to be a massive undertaking, but it must be done, and there must be no quarter given to any of these people. None. Zero. We are in great danger right now. I saw some comments about Ocasio-Cortez yesterday on Mike Cernovich's tweet account. Twitter. I'll get this straight in a minute. No, my mind's not in the gutter this morning. And basically, this person that was writing to Mike made a comment about how ridiculous Cortez is, and she's got no realistic goals. She has no real experience, all of which is true. And frankly, I don't mind people being in Congress. As a matter of fact, I would rather have more people in Congress that don't have legal experience and political experience and all that. But of course, we know she's getting fed information by the people that put her there. If you all know about that, the Democrats for Justice group, that thing. If you've not looked into that, you probably ought to. But I like the fact that non-lawyers, non-politicians come into the Congress. The problem is that she comes, as well as Ilhan Omar, and yes, I'll say it, and Tlaib. They're coming from areas that our own government has allowed to be infiltrated by people that are not supportive of our constitutional republic. And so, what she will be doing in the future, probably not the near future, but will be subverting our constitutional republic and our Bill of Rights. She's already said so with her Green New Deal and other things, banning and confiscating weapons, things like that. So the problem is that we've allowed these footholds to, and we've had immigration before, the Irish and all these people, but they always came here because of the Constitution, not to subvert it. You see the difference? When you were coming here to enjoy the freedoms that were offered to us, that a government would protect us in our God-given rights. Not that they did a good job of that, because they never have, not even right after the revolution, after the Constitution was ratified. They've never done a good job, but the possibility and overall it's been okay. But now we have people that take office with the purpose of subverting our Bill of Rights and our constitutional republic, and that is a problem. And it should be, if somebody exhibits those behaviors, that should put them in a place where they no longer can hold that office. They should be thrown out of the House of Representatives or the Senate, and they can do that despite it doesn't necessarily have to come from a referendum. They can be refused their seat. But of course, the leftist Marxist ideas and the Democrat power strategy won't permit that at this point. But those people that like where Ilhan Omar has come from, and Tlaib and Cortez, their constituents are islands, and that's going to be a problem. We are guaranteed a Republican form of government by the Constitution, and unfortunately, it's being played against us right now. So anyway, what this person was saying is that she's a danger. And then what Mike Cernovich said back to this person was that Cortez is someone to be reckoned with, that she will be making some impacts in the future because she's only 29. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. This is a judgment, and if we don't repent and turn this thing around, and sometimes it's some really bad things that have to happen to make things right, if we're not willing to do that, you have less than probably a decade before, it might be a lot less than that, before this whole thing comes crashing down, and all those talks about FEMA camps and the pogroms in the former United States will indeed happen. Okay. I saw a tweet the other day. I'm just going to mention this in passing. I don't want to get into it. And if I see anybody bringing Q up, defending Q on my timeline, and if any of my moderators are here, if you see them, just go ahead and kick them. And I don't want to get into this fray that's going on between MAGA Coalition, Your Voice America, and Q, particularly Praying Medic and this dilly dude down in Arizona. But I do need to say this. I saw a comment, and apparently it all has to do with how Gorka called Q garbage. That's kind of where this thing started. Now the great Q has ordered his or their anons to dox people. Oh, that really sounds like a White House intel insider. That really sounds like President Trump. With all the things he's failed to do against the Democrats in the past 2 years and the people that have fought against him, he's really going to go after MAGA Coalition? Really? Really? These people are sick. They really are. But the thing that I wanted to address, by the way, Q said in November of 2017 that we had it all. We had it all then. We had it all. Right. And now they're just repeating their same things. Sorry, the wind's blowing here. There's a little dust in the air. Yes, another storm's coming in. But anyway, this apparently she's a vet, and I'm not going to say her name, but she had a rather nasty thing on there on Twitter, where she says to Gorka, "How dare you call President or General Flynn garbage?" So you see the connection that these people, for lack of a better term, are making. That Q and General Flynn are one and the same. So when Gorka called Q garbage, she comes and attacks Gorka, saying, "How dare you call General Flynn garbage?" This is a cult, and it's unfortunate the number of people that it has grabbed. But that's all I wanted to say about it. Isaac Green put out a really good couple of YouTube videos in the last few days. So has a MAGA coalition. I don't follow them very closely, but sometimes I think it's wrong that the conservatives are fighting amongst themselves the way it is, but that is the way it is. But that was the purpose of Q to begin with, was to divide the base. And I've said that since late November 2017, early January 2018. And I'm not going to go through the history on that, but I just wanted to bring that up. No, Dr. Gorka did not call General Flynn, I keep calling President Flynn, General Flynn garbage. He called Q garbage, and they are not one and the same. So I'm coming to Gorka's, and Gorka and I have differences of opinion on things, some severe ones, but that's not what he was saying, and to try to make it out to be that is ridiculous. Glenn Greenwald. I had my a Republican Insider send it to me when it happened. He was on Tucker Carlson and talked about not only was he censored by MSNBC and CNN and these others, principally MSNBC, but anybody who might not go along with the official narrative as promoted by MSNBC, CNN, etc., anybody who might go against their position, they would not have on to interview. And he was basically ignored, kicked off. Censored. I mean, it's worse than that. But anyway, if you want to see that, I was going to include the clip, but it's a little long, so I didn't want to put it in here. But in fact, this has been going on for a long time. Not only are these not reporters in these supposed news organizations, MSNBC, CNN, etc. Not only are they not reporters, Cuomo said the other day on CNN that they're not investigators; they're merely reporters. And I wonder what journalistic school he went to, because he just negated any worth he thought he ever had. Cuomo, that is. But at any rate, so the networks have been just as Fox has done it too, very, very much so. They've done it with Judicial Watch. They've done it with Judge Jeanine and others, and Judge Jeanine was one of their own. So at any rate, that's how they've been running the program, and unfortunately, I guess there's not much anybody can do about it except just ignore them, have their ratings continue to drop. It's like I said, this dividing time is not going to be easy. We're going to find out that we're in some very severe circumstances. The evil side and the good side, for lack of a better term, is going to continue. That gulf is going to continue to widen because we're going like this, and it's not ever going to be reconciled, not at this point. President Trump is, in fact, just a stay. That's all he is. This isn't going to last unless there's massive repentance in this country, and I don't see that happening. Sorry, I just call it the way I see it. But hooray for President Trump for making this grand effort, for putting his life, his fortune, his family, his sacred honor on the table. Despite some of the disagreements I have with some of the things he's doing it the way he understands it. And I keep praying that God will give him better discernment. But even that doesn't help if a person doesn't receive it, because sometimes, we kick against the pricks, and like I said, though, at some point God may say, okay, I'm not going to help out here anymore. You're on your own, and I worry about that. But at least at this point, it looks like we might be able to go after these criminals. No, we can't do what Karl Rove said. If you saw him, he had a piece where he wrote and he said, move on from Mueller, Mr. President. No, Karl Rove, that's our problem. We ignore what you're trying to do is you're trying to protect the Bushes and the Clintons. That's all you're trying to do. No, I'll tell you what. You say to move on from these criminals who have conducted these crimes and these treasonous acts. Okay, well, let's move on from the armed robbers. Let's move on from, the thieves. Let's move on from the tax evaders. Let's move on. Let's forget all those. Let's just drop it. Okay, let's just drop it. Let's just move on from all those criminals as well, Rove. You're a hypocrite, you're a liar, and you're an evil traitor. And Adam Schiff is no different. Adam Schiff is doing a live thing. I just saw it. He's doing a committee meeting this morning, and he's trying to he's not trying to backpedal. He's trying to justify his position. Okay, Schiff, well, let's do it tit for tat. Let's do what's good for the goose is good for the gander. There's evidence against Hillary Clinton. Why aren't you worried about that, Adam Schiff? There's evidence against Barack Obama, Barry Soetoro, whatever the hell his name is. Why aren't you calling that out? Because you don't care about that. You care about keeping the Democrats in power, not about protecting, defending, supporting the Constitution of the United States and what's right. Adam Schiff is going to go down big time. I told a friend of mine, I had a family member who thought that Adam Schiff is a great guy. I said, no, he's going down. And he is. He's just digging his grave. And he knows it too. He's almost crying like a baby this morning trying to justify what he's done. I couldn't stand to listen to him. I shut it off. Okay. So, not only are they censoring people generally in these news organizations and the social media, they're actually cutting off, they're actually not bringing in people with opposite opinions or information about what's happening to give their audiences a balanced view. So, the news organizations are not reporting, okay? They're actually activists, as most people know by now. And this thing with Glenn Greenwald proves that they were involved in activism, not in reporting the news and letting the people make up their own mind. They're not doing that. Even Fox has moved that way. They're definitely moving left at this point. The Obama shadow government appears to be as powerful as the President of the United States. I hate to say that. People are going to throw their hands up and scream and holler, but look what's happened. Yes, finally, with Barr in there, maybe some things are happening. I'm saying that. He's pushing Huber forward to give him some product. That's not in the main news, by the way. People are just hoping that Huber is up to it, but there's some... I'll just tell you that there is some information that Barr is demanding product from Huber. There are a few people out there that will know what I'm talking about. But this shadow government of Obama, which is down on Michigan Avenue, not Michigan, Massachusetts Avenue, right there in Washington, D.C., is a seat of power, and it is the center for the rogue government. The rogue CIA, the rogue FBI. These people are in those organizations, but they're reporting there. And that needs to be cleaned out. And that's going to be a massive, massive thing to have to accomplish. Obama had 8 years to not fundamentally transform our government, not just fundamentally transform our government, but load it with people who will do the bidding of Satan. And I'm going to say it that way, the bidding of the evil one. And as of right now, the evil ones are definitely Obama, Soros, and Clinton. I mean, we could expand that out, but those are the ones that we have to be concerned about right now. And yes, I include the IC and all of that. By the way, I feel vindicated. I have said for decades that there was a problem in our intelligence community. I've said for decades that there was corruption, not just at the high levels of the FBI. When you have corruption at the top, what they do is they fill their ranks down below them with the same type of people they are. And anybody who doesn't realize that are being fools, including Sean Hannity and including President Trump. They have filled those organizations with the same type of people that Comey and McCabe are, and Strzok. So I've been calling this out for decades, and now we've had this whole thing become manifest to us. What is the motto on my channel, anybody? And I don't have the chat on, but I think you all know what it is. The intel community is our most dangerous domestic enemy. Oh. No. Fuck. Well, looks like we stopped. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, it says we're going, but we're not streaming. What's going on here? Let's do this. Let's start all over again.